Let's go Dolphins! The Miami Dolphins are officially shifting gears for what's next. The offseason is technically over. The draft and free agency are behind us. But trust me when I say this, things are far from calm behind the scenes in Miami Gardens. The players may be grinding in practice. Tua Tagovailoa is out there throwing passes. Jalen Waddle is running around the field in a blur. And rookie Devin Achane is shaking off the rust. But there's still a lot bubbling under the surface. And we're going to talk about all of it. The goal is the Super Bowl. And to get there, Mike McDaniel needs a roster that's ready for war. I can tell you right now, this summer is going to be wild. But before we get started, if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan and have followed this team through its ups and downs, be sure to like this. Especially if you're a true Dolphin fan, comment below, I'll always be a Dolphin. Alright, now let's break this down. As of this very moment, the Dolphins roster is bloated, sitting at 91 players, which is over the offseason max limit of 90. That includes the 14 undrafted free agents recently signed and a few extra rookie invites for tryouts. And while that might sound minor, it's not. Every player counts. Someone has to go. Is it going to be a quiet cut? A sneaky trade? This is the kind of detail that reveals how tight and calculated this front office has to be right now. And while we're on the topic of trades, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Jalen Ramsey. Word is, he's a potential post-June 1 trade candidate. If that goes down, the Dolphins stand to clear about $5 million in cap space, which could bring the total up to nearly $23 million. Not bad, but what's the move here? Are we talking draft pick compensation? Player for player? It's wide open, and the tension around Ramsey's future is only going to heat up as June rolls in. But Ramsey's not the only name buzzing. Tyreek Hill's situation is just as electric, and not in a good way. There are whispers. Is he going to be at mandatory minicamp? Is he possibly trade bait? Teams are calling. And if he's not at minicamp from June 10th to 12th, you better believe the rumor mill will explode. The same goes for Ramsey. If he's MIA, fans and media alike will take it as a sure sign something big is coming. And you better believe the Dolphins coaching staff is well aware of these dynamics. Mike McDaniel and new DC Anthony Weaver are already hard at work, dissecting what they've got and what they still need. They're looking at each unit. Offense might be close to set, but defense? It's clearly still a work in progress. They wanted to attack the trenches in the draft, and they did, but that left some major gaps in the secondary, particularly at corner and safety. That's why the team has been in regular contact with names like Rasul Douglas. It's clear they're going to sign another corner, maybe even a safety, before the dust settles. This isn't just speculation. This is historically when the Dolphins strike. Remember, this is the window when they landed Jordan Poyer. So expect something, and keep an eye on the waiver wire, too. With teams trimming their rosters post-draft, quality talent is about to hit the market. Greer better be on that phone, because if he's not, he's failing this team again. And don't even get me started on the upcoming schedule release on May 4th. Year after year, the NFL does the Dolphins dirty. No home games in September. Brutal cold weather road games in December and January. You think it's fair that Miami, the southernmost team in the league, gets sent to Buffalo in January while other teams ride their home field cold advantage all season? It ruffles feathers inside the organization, including QB coach Darrell Bevell. You don't hear the league asking cold weather teams to come bake in Miami heat, do you? Then there's the looming issue of signing the rookies. Back in the day, that used to be a circus with first-round picks holding out. Thankfully, the new CBA has slotted salaries, so that process should be straightforward. Still, it needs to happen, and until those contracts are signed, things aren't truly locked in. Beyond all this, the roster battles are going to be fire this year. Wide receiver depth is going to be tested, with undrafted guys fighting tooth and nail against guys like Eric Ezukanma. The RB battle between Jeff Wilson Jr. and rookies like Chris Brooks will be fierce. And the dead period between mid-June and late July? Don't worry, I'll be locked in, bringing you content, position breakdowns, and player battles every step of the way. But the real story here, the one we need to keep watching, is Tyreek Hill. Is he still all in? Is a trade actually on the table? And if the Dolphins are willing to move on from both Hill and Ramsey, what does that say about their vision for 2025? Are they reloading or rebuilding? Or are we just seeing a complete reset under McDaniel's influence? Let me know in the comments, what do you think is really going on with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey? Should the Dolphins trade them now while they still have value? Or is this front office completely missing the mark again? Because here's the thing. If the Dolphins are seriously considering trading away both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey, you have to ask yourself, What's the plan? Are we looking at a quiet rebuild disguised as a reload? Or is this just Chris Grier being Chris Grier, juggling high-value assets without any long-term blueprint? Because let's be honest, Dolphins fans, Grier has overstayed his welcome. He's had years to build a Super Bowl roster around Tua, and here we are, still watching talent get shuffled around without any consistent result in the postseason. Trading Ramsey makes some sense on paper. His cap hit is heavy, and freeing up over $5 million gives the team more flexibility. But what's the return? Are we getting younger pieces that fit Weaver's scheme? Are we stockpiling picks for 2025? Because if not, if we're just offloading a Pro Bowl caliber corner for scraps, that's not strategy, that's desperation. Especially after just investing so much in the trenches during the draft. If you're going to emphasize defensive front strength, your back end better be solid, or else you're setting yourself up to fail against elite quarterbacks. And now we come to Tyreek Hill. This one's a gut punch. He's been the heartbeat of this offense, the one guy who can flip a game on a single play. Trading him, even for top-tier compensation, signals a potential philosophical shift in how McDaniel wants to run his offense. Maybe he's leaning more into power run schemes, more balance, less vertical explosiveness. But if that's true, shouldn't that have been evident in the draft or free agency? Because it wasn't. Then there's the psychological impact. You think Tua is going to feel more confident going into a contract year if you take away his biggest weapon? Come on. This is a team that already had questions about offensive line protection, and now they might pull the rug out from under him? Grier is playing with fire, and it's not just about cap math and roster flexibility. This could fracture team chemistry at the worst possible time. And speaking of time, training camp is right around the corner. OTAs are non-mandatory, sure, but when mandatory minicamp hits in early June, all eyes will be on who's not there. And fans aren't stupid. If Hill or Ramsey skips those practices, the signal will be loud and clear, especially with guys like Rasul Douglas still being talked about as potential additions. It means the front office already anticipates needing reinforcements, which in turn means moves are coming. This also opens up some major questions about leadership inside the locker room. If Tyreek or Ramsey leaves, who becomes the new voice? Wilkins is gone. Van Ginkel is out. The leadership core is being reshaped. Maybe Christian Wilkins should have been locked up earlier. Maybe we shouldn't have bet so hard on short-term contracts and aging veterans. Maybe, just maybe, Grier isn't the architect we were sold on. Meanwhile, Mike McDaniel is trying to hold it all together. He's innovating, adapting, trying to evolve this offense and defense to survive a brutal AFC East gauntlet. But how much can a head coach really do when the front office is leaving holes on the roster and toying with the locker room hierarchy? Then there's the fan base. We've been patient. Too patient. This isn't just about being competitive anymore. It's about being elite. Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, these are the teams we have to beat to matter. And yet